So, one of the most fascinating things that I've seen as I watch Russian propaganda, what Russian state media, is how much the Russians are re-Sovietizing. And I don't mean that in the sense that they are committed to communism and they're, ideologically becoming more pure Marxist. I don't mean that at all. I mean in the methods that they use. They are employing these kind of methods again. And it's really interesting. So here we're going to watch Vladimir Solovyov's colleague celebrating his birthday. So it's kind of a bit of a roast. And the Russian media monitor, their headline was Vladimir Solovyov's colleagues say he's not a journalist. I don't think that's the headline. I think it's something more. They said he's not a journalist, he's a super journalist or something along these lines. He's the Soviet mouthpiece, the Soviet information agency. And I thought, wow, that's something. Now, I'm not denigrating the Russian media monitor. I think the world of the Russian media monitor, they've done a great job collating these videos, subtitling it. I'm in debt. I couldn't do these videos without their help. So special thanks to the Russian media monitor as always for doing these videos. But I think there's more to the story here, and we're going to talk about that. Okay, I also want you to notice as we watch this, the man himself. And you'll see the character of the man exposed when they go to a particular break. Just watch what we see here. And again, as always, special thanks to the Russian media monitor for the great work they do. During these years, principled and categorical, he became a real guru of political journalism. In my opinion, Vladimir Rudolfovich Solovyov is a phenomenal figure in our journalism and politics. No matter how many years go by, Vladimir Solovyov remains the most popular journalist for all age groups. Okay, we don't know if that is absolutely true or if that is just saying that because it's nice things and it's birthday and that kind of thing. But if it is true, that is absolutely terrifying. Happy birthday. Thank you very much. Look at what happens when Vladimir Solovyov takes a commercial break. Now, this is what I was talking about with the character of the man. So watch what's about to happen on the screen as I read the subtitles. Slow down. Put your hand down. Have you lost your minds? There's some kind of scuffle. Bark once more, I'll pop you in the nose. Vasily, Vasily, Vasily. Stop it immediately. Okay, what on earth is going on there? They're having a fist fight during the commercial break, and watch what happens. Okay. I hesitate to say unique, even though it's appropriate. No, a fist fight at commercial break time isn't appropriate. What are we talking about? But to be fair, what is peculiar is that Vladimir Rudolfovich is not a journalist. Now, that was the headline that was in the Russian media monitor. I think what comes next is the real headline. Either from the standpoint of his professional training, Solovyov, that's absolutely true, or from the standpoint of the work he's doing. This is something bigger than journalism. From my standpoint, in our current situation, Solovyov alone replaced an enormous number of mass media outlets. I hope my colleague Dmitry Konstantinovich Kiselyov forgives me. Solovyov is our modern-day Soviet Information Bureau. Let's stop there. Wow. This man is our one-man Soviet Information Bureau. Now think about all that comes with being a Soviet Information Bureau. You are gospel truth. You can't be contradicted. You have all power. You have all knowledge. It's all on and on. Okay, so Solovyov is all these things. Of course, to be the Soviet Information Bureau, you have to be diverse. Guys, when I said that I absolutely agree with Sasha, I'm not a journalist. As I've always said, I'm a host. I have a lot of respect for guys in that profession. Okay, now let's pick apart the difference. A journalist has to run on facts. A commentator, the host, that kind of person, a commentator gets to say his opinion. It's a very different, it's a slanted thing. What I'm doing is not journalism too. I'm a commentator in that sense. Now, I'm trying to show you all the facts and teach you how to think through these things, and hopefully use some of the skills that I have as a professor to help you have some critical thinking. But I'm not a journalist in the strict sense of the term. Neither is he. And he's pointing that out here appropriately. Journalism is a separate profession, a very difficult one. I'm amazed at how he manages to absorb information. He's always informed down to the smallest details. He knows more than his guests, the so-called experts. He can always correct or support them. Volodya has a unique gift of personal communication, of empathy and insight into the other person. Volodya is certainly the main hero. I'm not sure that I would say that Solovyov is a empathetic kind of guy. I mean, he may be many things. He may have actually known details of things, even if, in my estimation, in many cases, his details are wrong. But that's not the same as being empathetic. He's a person of heroic nature. Now, remember, this is a birthday gathering for him, so they're going to say complimentary things. But nonetheless, they're building him up like he's some kind of great man, heroic figure where I'm not so sure about that. When he is asked a pointed, perhaps damaging question, he never gets personal. Oh, no, no, no. He gets personal all the time. Think about the things that he said about Ukrainians or Zelensky or Biden or the West in general. He's personal all the time. He is not hostile on a personal level. I want to remind you of something else. Vladimir often gets involved in socially significant issues. As a defender, as a fighter for justice. Okay, what they mean by justice is something I think different than what the rest of the world seems to mean by justice. He's talking about justice in the sense of defending the Ruski Mir against everyone else who must be, by definition, Nazis if they oppose the Ruski Mir. For him and I, our common endeavors, there were many examples when, because of his harsh coverage and position, we could bring some lingering case to conclusion, or achieve the firing of some high-level official. It's more difficult for the youth to come to this world, because we, the old men, suddenly look robust. The way we look in our 50s is how 30-year-olds used to look 15 years ago. Well, maybe there's something to that. He knows that he's a lightning rod. He knows that he's a blowhard, and they're just giving examples of that kind of thing. Even though Vladimir Solovyov said these words many years ago, they are still relevant. You are part of television history. Oh, look at him. He's picking up a tire. Here, show how you can lift heavy tires. Your incredible strength. Volodya, I don't even want to congratulate you. Don't view this as congratulations. Remember, I told you that you're about to experience your best decade as it was for me. The best time of my life was between 60 and 70. I rarely meet people who are smarter than me, but you are one of those instances. Volodya, I admire you. I love you. As you know, many people hate you. Well, there's a reason for that. And the people that hate you there's a lot, maybe there's some in Russia, but there's a lot outside Russia who don't agree with your Ruski Mir interpretation of how the entire world should go, and that's part of it. Add to that the bombast, add to that the vitriol that comes out of your mouth as you defend the Ruski Mir, and, well, that's why. You have to compensate it by love. We'll tear them up. Okay, compensated by love, we'll tear them up. I'm not making this up. Solovyov can do anything. He can save you. He can help you. He's very charismatic, very affable. He's very charming. He knows how to do it. I was certain I was the only one to whom he gives flowers. This is also an art, to give flowers in a way that you feel like the only one on the planet. Okay, wow. Okay, so everything said was to be, happy birthday, he's such a great guy, I get that, but, some of it also was a little bit like telling. So when they're talking about him being a one-man Soviet propaganda bureau, that's not exactly a great compliment. I mean, I know they meant it as a compliment, but given what the Soviet Information Bureau was, okay, but giving flowers in a way that you feel like you're the only person he's giving flowers to, it's a little creepy, but that's not the problem. And when you saw his character in a fight in between, behind the scenes, like they were like praising this, not a good thing. Okay, tell me what you thought about that, because it's very revealing of the man, the character, the message that comes through the person. Because the personnel is policy, right? Who you are is going to translate into what it's going to become part and parcel of what you say. Tell me what you think about that. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.